Remember this?
Or as someone once said, shut up and dribble.
When Laura Ingraham dissed LeBron James because he had the gall to criticize Donald Trump.
It's always unwise to seek political advice from someone who gets paid $100 million a year to bounce a ball.
This whole argument would blow up in smoke when then New Orleans Saints quarterback Drew Brees said this.
I will never agree with anybody disrespecting the flag of the United States of America or our country.
Once more, the goalposts, they were a-moving. Now, for the record, the original message?
To me, this is something that has to change. There's a lot of things that need to change. One specifically is police brutality. There's people being murdered unjustly and not being held accountable. Cops are getting paid leave for killing people. That's not right. I have family, I have friends that have gone and fought for this country. I've seen videos, I've seen circumstances where men and women that have been in the military have come back and been treated unjustly by the country they fought for and have been murdered by the country they fought for on our land. That's not right.
Quite easy and simple to take in if you have a shred of decency as a human being, if you are fairly empathetic to marginalized communities and also just understand the journeys of other people as our fellow man. Yet, for Drew Brees, for some reason, he wasn't told to shut up and dribble.
He's allowed to have his view about what kneeling and the flag means to him. I mean, he's a person. He has some worth, I would imagine. I mean, this is beyond football, though.
Ironic. Pure, hilarious, I must say, irony. And personally, I see this same exact script being played out right now amongst the right with the Indiana Fever. Now, recall Sophie Cunningham saying she's qualified to discuss trans people in sports because she is a WNBA player. Quote, I got a lot of negative feedback about me hating trans. And I'm like, I never once said that. I think that I'm here to extend love. I also think with that love is truth, being honest. I want to protect young girls in a locker room or young girls in sport who shouldn't have to go against biological men.
Just hearing her say things like, I think I need to protect young women from competing against biological men. That's not the actual issue at hand. They're not anti-trans person, which it just says hating trans, which isn't what you would say if you consider them people. You're forgetting the people. And that might seem like a little thing to you, but to me, that's the distinction, is because you are forgetting, you are talking about people. One side politically is incredibly invested in this issue, and that's because one side politically doesn't really have a lot of other issues that they've got pretty big approval on. The reason they have big approval on this is because people keep saying sentences like, I don't want little girls to have to go against biological men. You never consider that it's because the statement itself does not reflect the actual issue that we're discussing.
She played into a boogeyman argument that does not exist, okay? However,
I think for us, it's not really a discussion we really have in our locker room. I think it's for leagues and the governing bodies to work with their athletes to find solutions, but our focus is on basketball, and that's what we talk about and how we can get wins, and obviously we didn't do that tonight, so we need to find an area to improve in that way.
Do you have any, reaction to the...
I just answered for you.
When Caitlin Clark gave this answer, take a wild guess at who despised seeing this.
I don't believe that men and women are equal.
Right-wing bigots like Matt fucking Walsh. Here is what he said. Caitlin Clark might be the biggest coward in the history of sports. She refuses to say anything about the anti-white racism she has been subjected to since coming into the league. She punts on the trans question, which is the easiest question you could ever be asked, no spine. Oh, he was not alone, let me tell you.
The players of the WNBA can't fucking stand her. Why? Mm-hmm. Because she's white. It's abject, absolute racism. It's total racism. And one of the things that's been admirable about Caitlin is she just continues to play her game.
Megyn Kelly. Pro-blackface Megyn Kelly. Pro-Jesus is a white man. I could never be a Middle Eastern man. Black people dressing up as Santa doesn't make sense. That Megyn Kelly, the despicable Megyn Kelly, would weigh in online. She quote tweeted above the video with one word, coward.
And you are the most famous woman in women's basketball, and you're directly asked as the issue rears its head in your sport, and you punt on it. You won't say anything. You'd rather let the 12-year-olds handle it. F that. I see them as very different, and I'm very disappointed in Caitlin Clark. What we need is a star professional female athlete who's currently playing her sport to risk it.
Wait a minute. So if I'm keeping track, y'all wanted athletes to shut up and dribble. That is what you all told them to do. And suddenly, when Caitlin Clark shuts up and dribbles, they lose their minds. They hate it. Consistency, anyone?
And I'm very proud of Sophie Cunningham, who, by the way, does nothing other than have Caitlin's back. That's kind of one of her main roles. She scores points and she has Caitlin's back as Caitlin gets attacked in her own league with refs who won't support her. You'd think she'd have some empathy for the little girls who are getting attacked by men in her league.
This is a transphobic dog whistle. Purely transphobic. And yet, Megyn Kelly probably doesn't know that there has never been a trans basketball player in the WNBA. A level below. In college basketball, trans women cannot compete. So I guess my question is, what gives? What are y'all chasing?
The people who don't want to see trans girls and women in sports, you've fucking won. I don't know what else you want. 29 states have banned trans athletes from competing in sports at every level, K through 12, banned. The NCAA has banned trans girls and women in sports. The Olympics have banned trans women and girls in sports. What else would you guys like?
Very quickly, if you can, become a paid channel member or go to Buy Me a Coffee to support this channel. Thank you.
What else would make you happy so that you leave this community alone? And you know what I can't do? I can't use the platform that I have and turn it into a bullying pulpit against a community that is just trying to exist, that just wants to live and be left the fuck alone. What you really want is that you don't want them to actually exist. You don't want them out of your spaces. You don't want to be reminded that you even have to show even the smallest bit of respect for them or treat them as human beings. That's what actually would make you happy.
Andrew Egger would put it rather succinctly. It's been weird watching for years as right-wing influencers try to draft Caitlin Clark into the culture war, and it's weird today watching them ritually denounce her for not participating. She's never participated. She wants to shut up and dribble. And then, after all this transpired, there was one writer at Outkick named Joe Kinsey who tried his best to dig and dig and dig, and he would stumble upon Julie Tatar, who plays in the second division with Monaco. Kinsey direct messaged her, and she didn't take the bait. If the WNBA contact me, she replied, I won't say no, but you have to be realistic. I'm old, and there are far better players than me. She's 34 years old. She transitioned in the year 2021 and basically said, dude, are you serious? Are you kidding me? No, I'm not going to get that call. So even when they try over and over and over to reignite this issue, to try and make it out to be an issue, you are hearing from someone that they say is going to dominate, going to put up Shaq numbers, saying they're better than me. And I am in a lower tier basketball league. I don't know what you're trying to get at, but I can't do it. In the wake of her comments, though, Sophie Cunningham snapped photos with anti-trans activist and fifth-place swimmer Riley Gaines after the Fever lost to the Minnesota Lynx. Then she gave a quote that stunned me.
I think that there's so much good going on in the WNBA. All we ever do is cover everything except basketball. And it's like what are we doing? But I also think we got to keep the main thing. And I think when it comes to the Minnesota game, I think there is so much distraction.
Sophie, you brought it up. You did it. How can you, it's like the Eric Andre meme. Like, how can you possibly say, you know what the problem is with you media people? You always talk about stuff that we say, and you always follow the stuff that we do, and you report on it, when really what I want you all to do is let me get away with my own internal bigotry, and I want you guys to shut up and write. It doesn't work like that, Sophie. You gave them so much on an issue that the right plays into. This culture war that should not and does not exist, that they are making it out to be the issue of our time when it is not. It is not. And after you said all of this, you basically said, and I gave this interview a while ago.
That interview happened in February when I was asked a question. And so for me, I just want to, make sure that it stays, the focus stays where it should, because people are playing at such a high level.
That is some of the weakest stuff I have seen. Basically, she wants her cake and eat it too. She claims to be protecting women, yet has nothing to say after she was a UFC ring girl. For who? Dana White. Committing 2 acts of domestic violence by striking his wife twice on camera. She served as a ring girl for Conor McGregor. We have already gone over his story many times on this channel. Check it out on demand. Yet here she is, saying, how dare you report on my transphobia? It doesn't work like that, Sophie. But really what I'm learning about her is she wants to have these thoughts. She wants to hold these thoughts. She will grift off of these thoughts. She's about to turn 30. She has never been an all-star. And she has also never been more popular. This is the avenue for her to not only accelerate what could be a long-standing career in right-wing media, as we have seen with Riley Gaines, but also follow the blueprint to enrich herself further when her playing days are done. I find it pathetic. And this is not an issue. It should not be an issue. Jay Feely, former NFL kicker, should not be running on this issue. Donald Trump doing this whole spiel of pretending to be a trans weightlifter, not a thing. What we should be talking about is how they won't release the Epstein files. You want to protect women? You want to protect girls? How about you talk about that, Sophie? That would be fantastic. How about we talk about how the rent is too high, how the potholes aren't fixed, how health insurance companies are ripping you off, how we don't have free healthcare in this country and people die because of it. How about how people ration insulin? How about that? How about how the mortgage crisis continues to get worse? People can't afford homes in this country. The homelessness crisis is also out of control. That is a policy issue. The human rights abuses that are taking place every single day. How about the way that ICE is terrorizing each and every city in this country? How about the racial profiling that's happening? How about Nolan Wells? How about the cops that are continually killing, arresting, crushing black and brown people because legalized slavery is in the form of the 13th Amendment? No, none of those things. Just trans people. Got it.